It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning and good morning, rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you last week? Oh, we started off shaking the Monday morning blues with the Do Time crew, and we talked about the traits that no matter how much chemistry you and him may have, if he don't have these traits, nothing is going to save that relationship. And honesty was the first thing on the list. Yep, honesty. We can't rely on, anything else to take the place of honesty. How in the world does that even work? What about a caring man? If he has nothing else, he needs to care. Honesty, caring, listen, it's all a byproduct of one another, right? If you're honest, you care, and if you care, you're honest. You can't have one without the other. All right. And we talked about that paternal instinct. Yeah, if you plan on having children, you can't have the imbalance of you're a good mom, even if you don't know everything, you don't mind struggling and working at it, and you got a man who's like he's not even trying. So go and listen to some of the things. If you're not sure, if you're thinking that it's time for you to get married and you've been searching and asking God, God, or seeking and asking God, God, what do I do? How do I prepare? Listen, you are preparing when you figure out what you're supposed to be going after. All right. Well, we had the switch with Shantice. Pray God comes for you. Boy, that is so loaded with a practical switch tip. So many things that could actually mean, whether it's talking about pray God comes for you when he's wrapping up this world and you are going to be entering into the kingdom. Pray God comes for you right now when you call his name, because there's a Bible verse that says, don't let your actions hinder God answering your prayer. So yes, when you call out for God, pray God comes for you, but you got to be on point now. You can't be just doing things as said would say, willy-nilly. You got to make sure that everything you do is calculated so that when you call on God, he definitely comes for you. So pray that he comes for you, but you got to also pray that you are in alignment with his word. Okay. All righty. Well, let's talk about it. Tuesday, Church Folk Day rolled around, and I don't remember the last time we laughed so hard. Well, with Pastor Brenda and Pastor Vinny, we have never laughed this hard. We talked about that couple. Yeah, unfortunately, I got to say it like that. Where there's the pastor who's from Mississippi, and there's the mistress from Arkansas, and he was visiting her church all the time, and then she was telling him about how bad her marriage was, and what else? And yeah, by the time he decided to counsel her, the second counseling session, they were already in the bed. And that made for a bad situation because she was a little cuckoo. Yeah, she was threatening to kill herself after a while when he did not keep up his end of the deal and divorce his wife the way he convinced her to divorce her husband. And he talked her down the first time. But that other time when she decided she was going to kill herself, she was headed to the park, but then she saw the entry onto the highway, the 6-hour drive to Mississippi, because she's from Arkansas. And she ended up shooting him fatally and shooting the wife. And boy, did we have a lot of questions for this situation. And boy, did we laugh. So I advise you to go back. If you want to laugh, that's going to bring you a laugh. It was a very sad story, but you know what? It kind of touched on our legitimacy in Christ. Yeah, we say we in the Lord, but when it comes time to put up, did these two act like they were in the Lord? No. And unfortunately, it cost him his life, cost his wife, a bullet in her shoulder, I believe. And we got to realize that our actions have repercussions. Well, we talked to our girlfriend Vivian on Wednesday and her Wow Wednesday Socially Conscious segment, and she talked about that dad who the 3 boys, 4 boys, 5 boys who were responsible for raping the 12-year-old girl as she was leaving, going to her friend's house. And while her parents are trying to get her over this hurdle of life, one of the boys who held the girl down, his father was on video begging and asking, hey, are you really going to put my son in jail? Are you really going to lock him up? Well, if he did the deed, yes, you have to hold him responsible. We can't let these kids do these things and then, hey, sorry, we ain't got no answer for you. No, we have a big answer for you. Listen, you kept saying that he has a father in the home. Well, then he needs to act like he has a father in the home. And that was really a bad representation of who you are teaching him to be. So, you know what? We had our impromptu pray for them because, we're really struggling here. We're really struggling, in this society to get these kids together. And if the parents are not together, our children really stand no chance. Well, Thursday, we got back to talking about why do people choose the world over God? What is this all about? What is happening in this world that the world is so appealing and we can't figure out what what it is that we need to be doing, how it is we need to be focusing. So we need to make sure that we are always in the right way, y'all. Yeah, we have to make sure that we are in the right way in the Lord so that we can do what needs to be done. Because, other than that, we are really not going to get very far. Nope. We don't want to go down with the enemy when he goes down, do we? I sure hope not. Well, that's what's going to happen if we don't grasp on to the Lord. Okay? All right. Well, that's how we spent our week last week. I'm loving it. We had a grand old time here on this Due Time with Pastor Steph. So I say go back and view. If you can view on Facebook, if you can view on YouTube, and you might be driving or doing something where your eyes can't be focused on the screen, it's okay, because we are on a podcast, any streaming service that you can get your hands on. Apple iTunes, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible.com, Amazon.com, Spreaker.com, any streaming service you can catch up with Pastor Steph. Okay, all you gotta do is type in "It's Due Time with Pastor Steph" and it will come right up. Okay, all right, well, go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Isn't like everybody else's love. It's not like the world's love. The world's love loves you when you do things right or when you do things with them. But as soon as you make a mistake, they take that love away. But what I've experienced with the love of Christ is that it loves first. It loves through wrongdoing. It loves when you shouldn't be loved anymore. It's unconditional. And that's the love that I believe is going to change the world and has changed me.
good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Did I miss the PSA? I didn't hear anything. And Kenny's talking about how good the PSA was. Well, I didn't hear a thing, and I'm not hearing anything now. So can you give me a thumbs up and let me know if you can hear me? Because all my audio just went straight dead. So I don't want to keep talking. All right. Tamika says yes. Shanti says yes. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies. Well, I want to replay on my PSA. I'm upset. I'm upset now. I'm upset. I just dropped my headset. So please. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm all twisted here. I'm hoping that maybe it's just my audio here, because I'm not hearing anything and I'm all disappointed. Well, listen, let's say good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on this Monday, shaking the Monday morning blues today. And you know how we do first thing in the morning. We say good morning. You give me a good morning and I holler back. So please make sure you let me know you're in the room. Other than that, I don't know that you're there. Let's say good morning to my girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty. Thank you so much for joining me. We got a check-in from Serge. Hey, Serge. Thank you, Ketty and Serge, for letting me know that you could hear me. We got a check-in from our girl, Lady Tamika. Good morning, and we're hoping to get an opportunity to see you. Yep, I see you. I see you. I see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You know, we got to say good morning to the ladies that hold it down each and every morning to ensure that we are on point. So let's say good morning to our girl, Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Let's say good morning to our girl, Anika. Good morning, Anika. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, every morning we get our health tip first thing in the morning, and I hope you brought those pens and papers, because that's the only way you're going to keep up with this, because this is quite lengthy today. So I want to make sure you got that pen and paper so that you can write all of this down. You're going to have to refer back to this, okay? All right. We're talking this morning about the brain-boosting foods that we can eat that will help us stay mentally sharp. All right? I don't know about y'all, but I surely need to be mentally sharp on a regular basis. Ready? Blueberries. Are we surprised? Berries are always on every single list, no matter what. No matter what we talking about, we got our brain boosting foods, and berries, blueberries to be exact, is the first thing on the list. They say that surveys show that people who consumed blueberries at least twice a week performed 15% better on memory tests. Now, I gotta tell y'all about this. You know, as we're getting older, when you go to the doctor, things are shifting. I don't know about how many of you let me know in the chat room. Well, I want to also say good morning to Miss Grace if you're out there. Good morning. Hope that you're up. Hope that you're able to, get yourself together this morning. And I pray that you have a great day. So let me go back to the memory test. When I went for my last doctor's visit, they did some things that they had never done before. So they kind of hand you a piece of paper and they say, well, I'm going to hand it to you. You take it with your right hand and you hand it back with your left hand. They give you a certain amount of words. They say, we're going to give you these 3 words, and in a minute, we're going to ask you what those 3 words were. Yeah, they do like different stuff. And when I was asking, I was like, what is that about? And they said, they're trying, well, I'm a little older. I'll be 60, God spares. So that's why I said, as you get older, they said that this is what they do now to kind of flag how great and sharp your memory is, how great and sharp your mind is. So, if you want to pass that test, if you want to keep your brain, sharp, then make sure You write down the stuff, this food's on this list. And like I said, they say that people who ate blueberries just twice a week had a 15% better memory when they took tests. So you want to make sure you keep that blueberry going. They said that older adults who drank blueberry juice daily for 3 months showed a measurable improvement in short-term memory. Now listen, y'all. Now I know, because Lady Tamika, probably Shantice, our Pastor Kev, and all the Due Time crew, did y'all get to that kitchen and not remember why you went to the kitchen in the first place? Come on, Kenny. Come on now. Tell that story. You just got up off the couch to go get that bottle of water. And when you got to you had to stand there like, oh, what in the world? Yeah, child, that's happening as you get to be an older adult. Get them blueberries. They said drinking blueberry juice on a daily will help the short-term memory. They say that anti-inflammatory properties in blueberries are also linked to slower cognitive decline in adults over 60. And I just got finished telling you that God spares my life. I will be 60. So I need to act like I'm above 60 already. So take care of myself. I don't need to be declining after 60. Come on. Let's help one another out. Okay. So blueberries is the way to go. Fatty fish, those omega-3s. Surprise again, another item that is on every single list to get ourselves together in our sharp brain. Wait, I gotta stop. Happy birthday! I never forgot your birthday. Never, ever, ever. We've been friends since 15 years old. So hey, LaVon Roberts, happy birthday. Today's the 9th. Yes, today's the 9th. Girl, I won't tell your age. I just told my age. I won't tell your age. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You actually made time for me on your birthday. Oh, hey. You remembered me. That short-term memory, you eating them blueberries? Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Katie says yes. Well, LaVon and Katie say yes. They know about going to that kitchen. And as soon as they get to the kitchen door, they can't remember. So get those fatty fish, the omega-3s. We're always talking about salmon and sardines and mackerel. They say if you eat those things weekly, you have a higher chance of developing cognitive impairment over 5 years. So you won't have, I said it kind of backwards, you won't have that cognitive impairment. It's keeping you sharp. So make sure you get those omega-3 fatty fat fish in your diet. But they're always on the list. Walnuts, always on the list. Go get them walnuts. They say walnuts is the nut shaped like a brain. That's not the first time I've heard that. Yes, they said that they tracked 3,000 adults. And they said that they found that those who ate walnuts daily, they scored 11% higher on cognitive assessments opposed to the ones that rarely ate walnuts. So you want to make sure you get those walnuts in your system. Leafy greens. Yo, this is just a standard list. By the time we finish eating all these foods, we need to be like powerhouse people. We ain't got no diabetes. We ain't got no high blood pressure. Our memories are intact. We ain't got no joint pain. We ain't got no inflammation. Yo, these are the things that are on every list. Those leafy greens. Make sure you get those leafy greens in you. That spinach, that kale, that Swiss chard. Yes, make sure you get those leafy greens. They say they took a poll of 960 adults over a 5-year period and found that those who ate at least one serving of leafy greens daily, such as spinach, such as kale, Swiss chard, their brains were like 11 years younger. Child, when I get on this broadcast tomorrow, I'm going to be eating a leafy green. I'm going to be eating a leafy green, y'all. I need for my memory to revert 11 years younger. Okay? So Join. Wait, I got some comments going on in this chat room. I'm over here doing all of this stuff. What's going on here? Y'all are really talking. Oh, Tamika says she went to the kitchen to get a cup of water, walked to the living room without it, went back to the kitchen, got the cup, went to the living room, stood in the living room trying to figure out what was missing. Oh yeah, left the cup. Come back in the kitchen, stood in the front of the water fountain. Remember that I left the cup in the living room, went back to the kitchen, finally got the cup with water. Child, when you come on Wednesday, you better have some leafy greens in your hand too, so that we can be 11 years younger in the brain. Yes, I'm telling y'all, it goes down just like that. Walking around in circles trying to figure out, what was I trying to do? Yes. And Lady Tamika is not as old as I am, so child, let me tell you, it gonna get there. It gonna get there. Broccoli. We're talking about the food that's going to keep our minds sharp. Broccoli is on that list. They say they did a survey in February of 2025, and they found that the adults who ate broccoli 4 times a week had 19% reduced risk of age-related cognitive decline. They say broccoli is also rich in vitamin C, which supports the neurotransmitters in your brain cells. All right. So we want to make sure that we get that broccoli along with those leafy greens, along with those berries. And what else? Come on. There goes my memory. Omega-3s, or omega-3 fatty fish. All right. What else? Oranges. Yes. Get those oranges in you if you want to help that memory, keep that brain sharp. Yes. They said the adults with higher blood levels of vitamin C perform 13% better on cognitive tests compared to those with lower levels. So you want to make sure you get those oranges in you each day. They say that an intake of vitamin C in a single fruit will offer powerful antioxidant protection for your brain cells. So listen, we ain't got no room not to be eating the orange at least once a day. Green tea. Here we go. Bam! Every morning I got my green tea. They say green tea is excellent for the memory. They say that they found adults who drank green tea daily had a 22 lower risk of cognitive decline over a 6-year follow-up period. All right, I'm looking forward to it. I keep my green tea. Avocados. Yes. Remember, we were told quite a while ago, we need to eat an avocado every day. Well, guess what it's going to do? They say for adults who ate half an avocado daily for 6 months, experienced significant improvements in attention and working memory. Lady Tamika, tomorrow, avocado, leafy greens. I'm looking for you with the girl. Well, Wednesday, I'm looking for you with the fork, girl. Make sure you got that fork, so we ain't walking around that kitchen in circles. Come on now. We're going to help one another today. All righty. Okay. Okay. So Lady Tamika says, had half an avocado last night. So if we make sure we have at least that half of avocado, look at what happens to our attention and working memory. Beets. Oh, there are a lot of people that don't like beets. Now listen, I got one slamming smoothie. Check this out. Tell me what all of these things have in common. We have green tea. When I do my, smoothies, the water part, I always make it green tea. Okay. So in my smoothie, I use green tea, walnuts, some type of leafy green, whether it's spinach or kale, and I use avocados and beets. Yo, my memory should be like smashed and slamming, and oh my goodness gracious. Yes, get them beets in you. I don't want to hear nothing about I don't like beets. I don't like the way it tastes. Figure it out. All right. They say older adults who drank beetroot juice daily for 6 weeks had increased blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for decision making and attention. There's that Shanti saying that people be telling her, I got ADHD. Tell them to drink some beet juice, girl. They'll be all right. Oh my goodness. So there you have it. The foods that you need to eat to make sure your brain stays sharp. Okay? Let's go over that again. I'm going to go backwards. Beets, avocados, green tea, oranges, broccoli. Oh, they got eggs here. My thing is jumping. Eggs. Eggs is on this list. Yep. They say that people who ate eggs on a regular basis had 25% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. They say that eggs also provide that vitamin B12, and it will help with neurological function and mood regulation. All right, so make sure you get those eggs. So we're adding eggs to the list. Well, wait a minute. Half my list is going here. Dark chocolate, y'all. Dark chocolate is on this list. They say that a survey that was taken last year confirmed that dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, can improve both immediate and delayed memory recall. All right, especially in adults aged 40 to 65. All right, so remember, when you get the chocolate, make sure it's at least 70% cacao, okay? All righty. Pumpkin seeds. This list is longer than I thought, and somehow or another, my iPad is doing a whole bunch of stuff. Pumpkin seeds. They say pumpkin seeds has zinc and magnesium in it, and those who ate pumpkin seeds on a regular basis ranked the highest in cognitive without having cognitive disorders. Okay, so they had the least amount of cognitive disorders. They say that pumpkin seeds are packed with zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, and it definitely helps to support the nerve signaling and helps to prevent cognitive disorders. So get them pumpkin seeds in your system. All right, so let me go over this list. This thing is doing all kinds of stupid stuff. So if we're trying to keep a sharp brain, we want to make sure we have those blueberries, the fatty fish, which is the salmon, the sardines, the mackerel, and the tuna, walnuts, leafy greens, such as your spinach, your kale, and your Swiss chard, your pumpkin seeds, your dark chocolate, your eggs, broccoli. What in the world is going on here? Beets. Yeah. So make sure you get those things. See if you were keeping the list and I couldn't go back because the iPad was acting stupid. You still have your list. So, oh my goodness. All right, let me get off this site because this thing's driving me crazy. What are we talking about today? We got some crazy news, y'all. We got some real crazy news today. All right. So we have this Louisiana cop who brags about how he got an opportunity to walk free after killing a man, and then he ends up getting caught doing something stupid. That always kind of cracks me up when, you do stuff and then you celebrate the fact that you got away with it and then you get caught doing something dumb. So out in Baton Rouge, there's a police officer who somehow managed to walk away. Check this out, y'all. He was driving 83 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone while looking at his phone. He struck a man riding a bike, leaving him with a traumatic brain injury. Now, he was able to walk away because they twisted the story and said that the man who was nearly killed, this Dwayne Washington, that he stepped out in front of the car and he wouldn't have gotten hit had he not stepped in front of the car. So they had a video of this incident, but the video, they say, was so blurred that they could not use it to help the man who actually got hit. So he's in really bad shape. So they tried to sue, but again, because they didn't have anything, that they could actually watch, clearly that they could not rely on that. So, right now they say he's like at $500,000 of like medical bills. And the mother had to quit her job to take care of him 24 hours a day. They said because once he, ended up in that accident, he needed care 24 hours a day and they couldn't afford to hire anybody. So therefore he ended up having to have mom quit her job so she could take care of him 24 hours a day. So when they went to court, they said that the pedestrian, he ran a red light on his bike, and that's why he got hit with the officer's car. Now, they're not talking about the fact that he was driving 80 something miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone, and he did not have on his siren. No siren, no lights. So wouldn't you put that on if there was an emergency? So why were you driving so fast? And why were you driving so fast reading your phone? Okay. Well, they ended up just dismissing the charges. Now, they say that he had already had disciplinary actions against him when that incident happened. And one of them was a misdemeanor sexual battery charge. And he was caught on videotape doing something earlier. Now, so he walks away from this accident with this man who has this traumatic brain injury, only to be seen on camera later touching a woman's butt in a convenience store. Yeah, one of the employees. So he ends up resigning, and then she sued him because it was out. The word was out that he had gotten away with the hit and run. Yeah. So now she's trying to smash him. So you can't get away with things forever. You can run, but you cannot hide. So you are just a troublemaker. They say back in 2019, he had a 12-day suspension after he was caught on his own body cam threatening a group of drunk college students with a taser. In 2001, he got a 4-day suspension after he was caught forging a military document, listen, in an attempt to obtain paid time off from his job as a cop. In 2002, he ended up with a problem when he struck an air conditioning unit with his patrol car before driving off. So all these things have been added to his list, and now he does not have a job. So you do all of this and you get away with it, but you pushed it when you squeezed the lady's butt in the store. You're a jerk. You're a full-blown jerk. All right, what else are we talking about? When I tell you crazy news, I'm talking about Crazy News Monday. Okay, so we are shaking the Monday morning blues with the crazy news. There's a woman in Florida. Her name is, let me give you the name. I got to give you the name because I had to crack up laughing on it. Eileen. So there are no more Karens. There are now Susans and Eileens. So Eileen was near a pool, right? At the pool was a couple and their little one. And she walks past the baby, picks the baby up, and throws the baby in the pool for nothing. For nothing. So they run, they get the baby out. Now there's several people who bear witness to this. So they run, they go get the baby. So they threw, she took something else and she tossed it. And the father went up to her and asked her, listen, just pick it up and give it back. It was one of the kids' toys. And she takes the toy and she flings it like across wherever this pool was. And they're like, what is your problem? So when the cops show up, because somebody actually called the cops, when the cops show up, do you know that neither one of the parents wanted to press charges? Now they don't know this woman. So when they asked the dad, do you want to press charges? He was like, no, just get her some help. How can they get her help? Why do they get her help? That's not their job. That's not their job at all. So you've got several witnesses that were able to give an account as to what happened. And they're like, you know what? They don't arrest her and they just tell her, just go about your business and don't touch anybody else's child. Since when? Since what? See, Eileen, that explains why the since when. You know good well, I don't care if you were green, if you were 12 or 95, you pick an innocent baby up, you throw the baby in the pool, and they walk off. They walk off? Yo. But what kind of puzzles me is why wouldn't, they didn't know this woman. Why wouldn't you press charges? Why wouldn't you press charges? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. That might not seem strange to y'all, but it sure seems strange to me. All righty. We're keeping on with Crazy Monday. We have another story here. So you have this woman who's on SSI. She's a Black woman born right here in the USA. She's battling cancer. And they say, now go back to last week, ladies. Go back to last week, viewers, when we talked about the government and how they were swiping, or how we suspected that they were swiping all of those, 679,000 SNAP benefits. All right. Well, this woman in Texas, she is a United States native. Okay. She's never been out of the country. She's never spent time out of the country. She's never even visited another country. So she has been battling cancer for quite some time. Now they say she's 59 years old, but she was stricken with kidney disease when she was 28. She received a transplant, but in 2024, she was diagnosed with cancer. So she's enrolled in Medicare Part B, and she has been receiving SSI for, the reason why she's been going through all of this. They gave her the SSI. And in October of 2025, she woke up to both her SSI and her Medicare benefits had stopped. When she reached out to the government, to the Social Security Administration, they started telling her that they took her benefits because they could not prove that she wasn't legal. They said that her immigrant status was being questioned. She was born here. All of her benefits have been given all of this time. She was born here. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but when you go for Social Security, they do a lot of research. You got to give up all that information. I'm going to share something with you and show you how detailed they get. When I became divorced, I was using my birth name and a hyphenate, like the hyphenate. I just added the married name on. Back in 1994, I dropped the married name and I just been going by my birth name. But I never changed it with Social Security. When I was ready to get Social Security, you know what they told me? They was like, we need to know who we talking to. Are you Stephanie Griffin? Or are you Stephanie Griffin so-and-so? And I was like, on my work papers and everything, because remember, I never dropped Griffin. I always kept Griffin. But no, that wasn't good enough for them. They said in order for me to get my benefit, I had to go to Social Security and officially change that back to. Now that's my birth name. But I had to wipe it clean everywhere across the board. Had to read Stephanie Griffin. They couldn't see that name. Nobody, and they saw that all my work records from, it graduated, because at one point I was working under the 3 names, and they saw where I had not used the name. They saw the trail, but the judge was like, no, you need to change that. So that's what I'm saying. This here, what they're telling her, this is garbage. So she said she received a letter that said, we'll reinstate your Medicare, that Part B, but we cannot pay you benefits because you are not lawfully present in the United States. She never left the United States. So think about it. They said that there are thousands of people who are now getting this letter and getting their benefits slashed. Remember what we said about the benefits for SNAP and how they were doing all of that, getting all that money, putting that money back in their pocket. So she's sitting here, eligible. She was getting it. She never did anything, and they took her benefit from her. Yo, they are trifling. And none of this stuff started happening until this one got into office, really. Now, we know in 23, he wasn't officially in office, because remember, they said between 23 and 25. But this thing took a surge after he was in office. Because you didn't really hear about this. You may have heard it every once in a while with the SNAP benefits. But now, all of a sudden, once he gets into office, there's this crazy surge. Yeah. I'm telling you, this is the government at its wicked state. My last story today is a story about, Ketty always says, stop all that playing. You've got a teacher in Georgia who was 40 years old, Jason Hughes. He died back on March 6th. Now, they had sent out a letter. He's a high school teacher, and they had sent out a letter to all of the parents and the students. And I wanted to read the letter that they sent out, because the letter told them that they understand that it's prank season, because it seems like there's some surge in pranks when it comes to like prom season. They sent out the letter that said, but please refrain from performing any pranks. So they said the district warned the students about the prom pranks, and they included what they call senior wars. And they say that back in the past, some of the pranks had gone too far. The week before the incident with the teacher, they sent this letter out. And they said that when he came out of his home, that they had thrown toilet paper all over the trees and stuff outside of his home. He tripped and fell. And when he fell onto the road. And one of the kids who had done the prank accidentally rolled over him in his pickup truck. Oh, Lord. So let me just tell you this prank again. This boy, Jaden Wallace, and some of his friends, the other students, rolled the teacher's trees with toilet paper. When the man came out his house, he tripped and fell onto the road. At the same time, this Wallace kid was driving off, and he ran over the man and killed him. A week after, they had asked them to please stop the pranks. Oh, I can't take it. You stop. What's so funny about toilet paper, somebody's house? Let me tell y'all something. Y'all want to make me mad? Take my expensive toilet paper and throw it around. I be done killed you. You know how much toilet paper costs? Where's Lady Tamika? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm mad because they throwing toilet paper around, girl. Did you check the price of toilet paper recently?
Toilet paper, ever since COVID-19, toilet paper been high, and it's getting higher.
Yes, absolutely. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well, thank you. I'm well. Girl, are these some crazy stories or what?
What in the world? Are we having Wow on a Monday?
Oh, man, I'm telling you. All right, so I'm going to give you a chance. We have 4 stories. So we've got, let me see, the Louisiana cop. We ain't talking about him. We're talking about Eileen, who walked past the innocent baby and threw the baby in the pool, and the parents didn't press charges, and the cops did not arrest her. Okay, because that's something to talk about. We're talking about the woman whose benefits were suspended because they said they couldn't pay her because she wasn't lawfully present in the United States, despite the fact that they never had any proof that she was no longer in the United States. So we're going to talk, that one is going to be the one we talk about absolutely, only because we're piggybacking off of last Wednesday's story. And you get to choose between the Eileen and the toilet paper, and the poor teacher trips and ends up being run over by the very student who toilet papered his house. So, which one you talking about first?
Rough situation. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go on the paper party, which just doesn't make sense. And then there are parents that condone this type of foolishness. Mm-hmm. I have heard parents, always on such and such and such every year. They do such and such and such. You as a parent, you should have some common sense to be able to tell your child, don't do anything, don't do that, and, it was already written because, again, the school knew, don't do any pranks, and now a life is taken, plenty of times. How many times do we say, y'all play around, you play around too much, somebody gonna get hurt. You know, and of course you think it's just, we just playing. How many different times have we seen that, playing doesn't work? You TP this
Right.
man's house, he slips, he gets completely run over, life over. And you just
Yep.
wanted to play.
That quick. Yep. Yep, that quickly. As a matter of fact, let's get Shantice on and see what she's got to say about this story. We might as well cover all three stories. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tamika. It only takes a hot second, and your whole life is gone.
Over.
Your whole life is gone. Good morning, Shantice.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
All right. It's just the three of us today, so we can kind of extend our conversation. We're not going to have Pastor Gail with us today. He's taking care of some things. So, Shantice, we're talking about this teacher. They had just sent out a letter that said, "We know it's prank time, but please refrain from any pranks." They sent it out to the parents, to the students. Everybody know about this thing. The very following week, they end up doing this stupid prank and killing the teacher.
Why do they know where the teacher lives? That's concerning.
That's an interesting question.
That's very concerning because when you initially gave the story, I'm thinking this happened at the school. It wasn't until you reiterated it. I'm like, wait, he walked out his house.
Yeah.
Why do you know where I live? I should be like a celebrity to you. I'm untouchable. I'm
unreachable.
Right. 60 degrees of separation, whatever the term is. Like, you should not be that familiar with me. Why is it that you know where I live, sir? So already that should get them a whole lot of time, because that means you were scouting him out. So this was extra premeditated.
Wow.
And not just for him, whatever other teachers' homes, they were at and they did something at. So that just reinforces the complete disregard to this notice and these requests, verbal and written requests that was sent out not to perform any pranks. And then you perform this prank and he passes away, unfortunately. It's like these kids just feel, and again, everything is a case by case. It's not just a cookie cutter, thing. But have you stressed to your children the importance of following and honoring what the school put in place?
Right.
We know, and I don't know what town this is, because I ain't never heard of no prank thing going on around prom time. Well, I know you have senior ditch day, you have senior prank day, or whatever. But what y'all don't have enough to be concerned about. So if you did good, then you should be focused on celebrating with prom and graduation, and whether you are choosing to go to college or just go to work or whatever. If you failed, there's no time to celebrate because you need to repeat classes. You're missing out on senior activities. So either way, why are there time for pranks?
Yeah.
You're pranking.
They ain't gonna have to help. I'm sorry, they're not gonna have to worry about them senior activities because they revoking all of that. Well, it's 5 of them. It's him and 4 others. They've all been arrested.
Right.
But even if they come out, sometimes I guess the parents bail them out or whatever, there will be no senior activities for them. They've already said that's the repercussions of that prank.
Good. And, it should be more. This man died. It's not even like, he's just saying he's upset or he's just in the hospital. He died. So they really need to make sure they're stressing to these kids, because it's just supposed to show what you didn't normally stress throughout the school years, that you would get to this point and they feel like it's okay, but it's real unfortunate.
Yeah, this is really bad. This is really bad. The half of the school year is over, and they're trying to, kind of wrap up. And like you both said, this is the focus is trying to get through the school year.
Right.
And yet you actually take this time. 5 of them pulled this prank, and they have been arrested and charged with he's charged with vehicular homicide and reckless driving, and the other 4 have also been arrested as well. So, all right, ladies, let's talk about this woman who wakes up and she doesn't have any benefits anymore because the Social Security has claimed that we can't pay you because you're not lawfully present in the United States. They don't say how, why, who, where they got this from. They just say that this is why they cannot give her benefits. So they say once you get that type of action, you have 60 days to appeal their decision. And they must update their citizenship status. And then the case is reviewed by someone who did not suspend or revoke the benefits, which is key. Lady Tamika, that's key right there.
And that's extremely scary because, I remember back in the day when Big Mama used to hide money in the couch, up underneath the rug, in certain spots, in the jewelry box, because, it's scary. When someone has that much power, you've never, ever, ever been out of the country. I've been here all my life. I've had my IDs and everything, and all you have is that, and God forbid if she ever got married, or that type of thing, and the person died and she don't have, you got to have documentation for everything. Death certificate, marriage certificate, divorce certificate, birth certificate, but I'm already tired saying certificate, and, I'm hoping that she has that stuff, because if she was born in another state, she may have to get information from that state. It's good that technology helps, but sometimes there's all this red tape, and you've got 60 days. So that means you've got to be adamant. If they didn't give it to you today, call again tomorrow. And at that age, and with your health concerns, that can be a real difficulty. And so any little thing, even something as simple as, you in certain documentation, you have your middle name, and then in other documentations, you don't have your middle name. You have to be ever so careful. If you don't have it, make sure that your Social Security number and your information on your security card reflects everything else. Because if you got anything different, you're going to have a problem. And it would be so complicated to find out when you've worked all your years and now you figure, I can rest. No, because now you got to backtrack and get everything right.
That's right. You don't want to wait till then to get the glitch, because that's what happened. It was like, okay, I'm sorry, we can't do anything, but I need you to know. And I'll never forget, she said, I need to know who I'm talking to. I was like, it's me, it's Stephanie. She was like, you have to fix this. And it's probably also because how many errors have been made because the names haven't been, accurate. So I wasn't angry, and I was like, "You're the dope because you stopped using the name. You should have." But it was like, I don't have to worry nothing because I still kept the base name. So that's why I never had a problem like getting a job and showing the Social Security card, because it still had that name, the base name on it. But no, like you said, you got to make sure everything is accurate, because they're gonna snatch it. They're gonna do whatever they need to do, and they use any old excuse to make it happen. Yep.
Mine is 2 letters. The K and the C in my name, they mixed up all the time. I didn't do it. I know how to spell my name.
Right.
But because of documentation that has come in, and I kind of like, what's the big, because I get tired of fixing it.
Right.
But I have to fix it, because something as simple as that can keep me from getting what's needed.
Yep. And it's going to be a heck of a time when it's time. And then they start bringing out all these little technicalities. Been there, girl. Fix it. Make sure everything fixed. Shantice, last week we talked about the EBT benefits. Now, this week we're talking about security benefits. All of these things, how the individual is the problem, but it's all hanging on a hanger of the government. Both instances. How convenient.
It's like, you think everybody dumb? How is it that I'm from here I don't care where I've traveled to. I'm from here. I don't care if I picked up and said I want to move to Bermuda for 3 years and I came back. I'm from here. I have a birth certificate from here. I have a social security number and card from here. You can always pull up some old bills or some elementary school mail that went to an address from here. That stuff don't leave, because guess what? If I was a fugitive and you was looking for me, you'd be able to find where I was from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How convenient that would be for you at that point. So now, in order to get out of giving me money, you're now going to try to gaslight me into believing I'm not from here. This is all an illusion. You're really not from the United States.
But all they had to do was check a passport. And she never had a passport. She never had a passport.
But this is what I'm saying. If this woman decided to pick up and go anywhere for any length of time, the foundation would, I feel like Martin, they called me. I'm from here. I'm from here. What do you mean? So what does that say for the people who don't know how to sit still and they bounce around from living in one place to another place to another place? What are you fitting to tell them? That they're not from wherever they're from either? Because now you're trying to get out of paying them. It's like, and as you were telling the story, I was just like, wow, God, the okie dokes that they're going to be able to pull on the people who are not of you.
Oh,
that's all I was thinking as you were reading. That you would really be able to sit here and convince me at this age that I'm not really from where I know I'm from.
Wow.
Because that's what you're doing. You're trying to convince me that I'm not from here, so I will stop pursuing receiving the monetary and medical benefits that are owed to me. That is sick. Yeah. That is so twisted and conniving. It's just like,
yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that's why I said we just got finished talking about this last week with the EBT benefits. Now all of a sudden you finding people who are not eligible and you've been giving them benefits. Because let me tell you something, you don't get Social Security benefits just like that.
Right.
You got to jump through some hoops. You got to really establish and substantiate the fact that you can't work. You don't get that just because I done went in and filled out a little application and they said, oh, you qualify, stamp. That ain't nothing easy to get. So now all of a sudden, I'm no longer, stop. Anything. Okay, ladies, we're not talking about Eileen today. I'm going to bring up Eileen on Wednesday. God spares. When we're together again, because I got a topic that I want us to talk about. I found this so interesting. Thank you for indulging me in our news. So I found this list. You know me and my trivia list. I found this list. And this list, it's Relationship Monday. And I want to talk about a different relationship. I want to talk about the relationship of just people. Our basic relationships, and this list is a group of people who have written in and they're like, listen, I'm tired of enduring this stupid stuff with everyday people. And they just need to stop because this is just annoying. This is straight annoying and I can't take it no more. You ask me what I can't stand about the average, stuff that I see out here. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. This is the thing I'm talking about. And I thought it was really important because, when we talk about relationships, we always talk about intimate relationships. We talk about parents and children. We talk about friends. But we definitely don't think a lot about how what we do affect other people. A lot of people don't think about that. So I saw this list and I was like, oh, we got to talk about this today. We got a comment from Anika. She says, these are some of the reasons I hear why folks are not changing their name when they get married. Government's trying to make it even harder for the benefits. Yeah. And think about it. I never officially changed my name. I just added the name. So yeah, anything, any okie dokie pokey, anything. All right, ladies. So I'm going to list some things that people have said I just can't. There's just, these people are just out of control. They get on my nerves. I can't stand it. And I'm calling them out on it. Somebody says, I judge people who don't respect the school bus. Yes, I know it's annoying when they seem to stop every block and the kids take forever to get on or off, but their safety is just as important as yours. And I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people honking the stop sign. Stop sign opens when they open the door, and the stop sign goes in when they close the door. Both when you're oncoming from either direction, you cannot move. Both sides are supposed to stop. Shantice, I'm gonna give you first dibs on this one. They said they can't stand it.
They can't stand
when people don't respect they can't stand when people don't respect the school bus. What are you honking for? What are you driving for? This is simple. It's for the safety of the children. This is ridiculous already.
Again, these are just a bunch of people who, for whatever reason, you got somewhere to go and you ain't got nowhere to go. And because you're rushing, now, God forbid somebody stops at a stop sign. God forbid somebody stops at the stoplight ahead of you because you're rushing. So now you have a school bus in front of you. You know, the school bus doesn't put the stop sign out as soon as it stops. There's like, maybe a 5-6 second delay. And then you see, so you got to already wait 5-6 seconds. Already you honking. Then you don't always see the kid come out right away. So that's it. It's like when you're rushing, every second feels like an hour.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God, how long it take for the doors to open? How long it take for the maid the kid on? How long it take for the parent to walk from the gate to the, it's just like everything it feels like an hour for each thing, but that's your fault. Go to bed in the morning, get up on time. So that way now, because what's going to end up happening is somebody's going to run that stop sign and hit a kid.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop until they do that. So I agree. It's, it is annoying when you're rushing. So here's a remedy. Don't rush.
All righty. Lady Tamika, talking about, y'all are out of control. When you can't wait for the bus, you out of control.
I thought exactly what Shanti said. When let's just say, let me give you a for instance. It takes you an hour to get from your home to get to work. You doing whatever, checking your phone, checking emails, blah, 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 blah. Now you done wasted a half an hour on such and such. You get in your car already a half an hour late. I know this lady every morning. She's in the car, putting makeup on, looking at her phone, blah, 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 blah. So of course she got a foot on the gas because she's trying her best to get to work because she's already late. Every morning she was always late. My thing is, a lot the time that you're supposed to. All that other stuff can wait. Whatever posting, you got your lunch periods, you got, some other time. Sometimes you got idle time. Sometimes there's times where you're not so busy, where you can look at your phone, where you can check your emails. Those things, they can wait, because that one instance, we just talked about a situation, they're playing around, they put tissue, and now a life is gone. Don't you think that same thing applies? By you being impatient and going past that stop sign, child gone, and it's your fault because you didn't allot the time that you were supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do.
Right. And that's what this list is all about. These people who are just tired on top of tired of witnessing these things. And they're like, listen, I need you to know that this affects other people. And I think that is relationship based because we don't think about how we interact, whether we interact or not in our brain. Because I was walking one day, it was funny, I was walking and this guy was just in this car just honking. And I'm looking around, I'm like, why is he honking? Only to keep walking and found like 3 cars ahead of him was a bus. It was a school bus. And I'm like, what are you honking for? You can't even see what you honking, and you can't see the school bus. You don't even know what you're just honking. Clearly something must be happening, and your honking ain't gonna rush the process.
Right.
So you ladies are right. You know, that rushing thing, that's gonna kill you every time. All right, somebody says, I cannot stand, it bothers me immensely to see men who wear baseball caps inside, especially when dining. Something as simple as that comes up. Tamika.
I never thought about anything like that, although Al never wears a hat indoors, you know, and when I think about it, in our rearing, you know, that was one of the things. When a man walks in, he has to remove his hat. However, when a female walks in, she can walk in with her hat fine.
Absolutely. Shanti, somebody's got that on the list. I can't stand to see men who wear baseball caps inside, especially when dining.
That doesn't really bother me while dining, unless, you know, we're at maybe like a fine dining restaurant. But if we're, you know, maybe at the table in the house, but if we're like at Applebee's or something, Applebee's, you know, it's almost like sitting in an arena. You know, that it's something else that people wear on the inside that I just want to pluck the eyes out. But as far as, I can't stand to see people wearing shades on the inside. It's like, I just want to take a hammer and just knock the lens out while it's still on their face. It's like, why? It's like this whole persona that the hip hop culture has given off, that it's cool, but they don't understand what that really reads. It reads that you're so. But it reads that you're so. And it don't matter what the brand, because they all $8 shades. Versace, or the ones you get off the corner, the Muslim man with the incense. They all $8 shades. But it reads disrespect. It reads that you don't want to have that connection. It reads that you feel inferior. That's why you don't want to have that connection, because you don't want to look at the person eye to eye. It's like you're supposed to be having a serious conversation or just conversing with someone, but I'm supposed to be talking to you and engaging in this conversation with these shades on. I don't want to talk to you. I've ended
the same way.
I've ended many of conversations, or haven't even allowed the conversation to start because you're looking at me with the shades on. What is this supposed to do? No, thank you. You go talk to them over there. No, that we might as well sit in the same room and text each other. I would prefer that than to sit here face to face with these shades on while you trying to talk to me. No, that is just so dumb to me. I hate it. I hate it when I watch it on TV. I hate it when I see it in person. I hate it.
I too, because so for me, I'm the type of person, if I'm talking to you, I'm completely engaged in the conversation. Right. I'm not looking all over the room. I'm not reading, Facebook. I'm engaging with you. I'm looking directly in your eyes, because when I'm speaking to you, especially about something serious, because I rarely have the opportunity to have just normal conversation. Yeah, thank you. I don't have that luxury much anymore. So most times when I'm talking to you, it's about something serious. It doesn't even have to be about God, just talking. But I have a hard time. I'm looking at you eye to eye, but I can't see your eyes. It's like, okay, so what we doing here? That's not. So I'm at the point, I don't even want to talk. That's all right. Well, you go ahead and you read, you scroll, you do what they call it, dumb scrolling. You go ahead and do that, and I'll do whatever I'm going to do. It's just, for me, it's just distracting in a conversation.
It is.
The hat thing, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Russell Simmons started the hat inside trend. I don't know if y'all remember this. And he was the one that had the turning tide to suits, hard bottom shoes, when they were doing, because when you go to these award shows, they were always formal. He was the first one to break that mold and change. He put the cap on, he had the expensive clothes on, but it wasn't the suit and the tie and all this kind of stuff. And after that, everybody began to follow the same trend. So, you know, I too personally, I'm from the old school. I would prefer, you know, you take those hats off. I mean, I just don't like it. It just distracting to me. And maybe, you know, I should have other things to think about, you know, somebody saying, but I don't know. For me, I don't really care for it either. Anika says, that bothers me, wearing a hat indoors, especially when out eating, just like the shades. I'm old school, as I grew up with men that took their hats off indoors for respect. And that's what that was all about. It was a level of respect. You know, when men came in, they took their hats off. You know, remember years and years and years ago when they saw a woman, they would tip their hat, you know, so that straight went out the window, but at least they would always remove their hat. So when you go in out, they buy the hat, that's the style, that's part of their wardrobe, you know, for the occasion. So they're especially not looking to take off their hats now. So that was interesting to me that was actually on the list. They have another. They said people who allude to how many degrees they have, so you know they're intelligent. They don't realize they have no social intelligence and nobody cares. And Tamika, you went first. Shantice.
Wait, people who allude to how many degrees they? Oh, degrees.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about weather.
That's what happens when you don't eat breakfast before the broadcast. I'm like, degrees. We slower than I thought. Goodness. Okay. And people who allude to how many. Yes. Okay. Because I've learned in life, there's one of two degrees you choose. You choose to have the academic degree in life, or you choose the common sense degree in life. You cannot possess both degrees in the same lifetime. And considering we only have one life, like in the flesh, till Jesus comes and, you know, you won't determine where you go. I'd rather the common sense degree, because it seems like the academic degree just don't be working past what you need to know academically. So when you start bragging about you got your bachelor's and you went for your master's, and it be people sometimes that, because like Pastor Steph, she said she don't have really a lot of casual. I don't have a lot of conversations with a lot of new people. So a lot of times when the old people be talking to me, I be like, you forget who you talking to? I've been here from the beginning. Okay. But then there are those few, it's like, who you fronting for, bro? I've been here. It's like the few times I do get to speak to brand new people, and they start talking about all these accolades and these academics, already in my mind, I be computing like, you do. Okay, so that means your common sense level might be, since the academic is up here. You know, and you'll realize when people start bragging about that, it's like, why you gotta brag? See how it starts showing? See how it starts showing? Why do you have to brag about the degrees that you got? Where most of the time you're probably in debt. So while you're bragging about the degrees, but you're complaining on the other end because your lifestyle and your sanity is plummeted, because now what you're bragging about having, you've had to invest so much financially and time-wise. It just becomes too much. It's like, we got time to sit here and brag about degrees. You got the degrees, that's good. The only time the degrees really matter is when it comes to your career. It doesn't matter in any other part of your life, as far as what I know. So that doesn't always sit right with me. It doesn't make me mad. It just helps me understand which side you on.
All righty. Tamika.
When you start giving me information like that, well, I went and I graduated from such and such high school, and then I went to such and such, and I graduated from there, and I got this, and I got a PhD from here, I got my MSB, and I'm just like, the whole time that you're weighing me down like this, I'm about to go to sleep, because the more information I get, the more bored I get. you know, and I feel like, you know, people, there's nothing wrong with acquiring the, you know, the accolades, but nobody wants to hear it at the dinner table. You know, if that's something that we're talking about and we're talking about education, fine. But how often do we get to that topic of education and want to hear all that stuff? Nobody wants to be loaded with that. I want to know what type of person you are. You know, can you engage in a conversation? You know, is that something? I mean, do you have a life? Because it seems like people that have those type of accolades, they want to put that all on the table. And I'm like, wait a minute, we just having dinner. Why do I need? How is that going to allow my life or anybody at this table, anybody's life to progress? Okay, now that we've got all of that, we can hear all of that, and then after a while, it'll get silent at the table. Then we go, okay, so we'll start going into another conversation because nobody wants to hear it.
Wow. All righty. They have people who don't know how to hold a knife and fork when cutting food on their plate. Full fisters especially. Not really judge, but I noticed that and just want to show them how, but would never do it. Tamika.
If you know that you don't know how to get a spoon or a knife or whatever, there's certain stuff, you know, there's certain ways you can get past that. Have a sandwich. You don't have to worry about, you know, like, that's kind of like we go to an Asian style restaurant and you ask for chopsticks, knowing you don't know how to use them. And you fiddling around and I'm going, oh my God, let me get in there and help you just a little bit, you know? Like, I have seen people, you know, and I'm sure Shantice couldn't tell, you sitting there and you watching them struggle cutting with this knife, and you watch the meat slide across the plate and you're going, don't say anything, don't do anything, but you want so badly to help. Like, at this age, you should know how to use those things, you know. And if not, just I'll have a bowl of soup, something that's not work with the easy stuff, so that when we're out, we don't have to watch you struggle. We don't have to watch food fly across the table because you don't have a clue.
Oh my goodness. Shantice on this list, they're like, I can't take it. I can't take watching people who don't know how to hold the knife and the fork when cutting food on their plate. Full fisters, especially. And you see them like this whole thing, they're holding this, and they just like, the whole plate is moving. Food sliding all across the table, on across the plate. Oh, Shantice.
It's not annoying, it's sad. Because it's one thing when you have to teach a child. You know, and I understand that every adult was not raised a particular way. At the same time, it's like certain things, even when you don't know, you have some type of concept for it. You know, like, you know that motion shouldn't be like that. So now, instead of you asking for help, because how else are you going to learn? That's how the kids learn at the dinner table. But see, that's the problem. Y'all don't teach the kids at the dinner table.
Because ain't nobody at the dinner table.
Ain't nobody at the dinner table. Or I've served families that you should see what the parents are doing versus what the kids are doing. If you didn't know where you were and you were only looking at the table, you would think the parents are at a restaurant, but the kids are at Rob Playland. If that's all you got to see was this. They on a teacup ride while you at the fine dining restaurant. Right next to each other. Not even the kids is at one side and the parents on the other. No, it'd be right next to them. So this is the parents' fault. So when 40-year-old Mike wants to take Jane on a date, blame Miss Rogers for not teaching Mike at at 10 how to cut his steak.
Gosh. Alrighty. All right, they have, it annoys me how people behave in public. Obnoxious behavior in restaurants particularly. No one wants to hear your big mouth when they're trying to enjoy their meal. Shantice.
Yeah, Pastor Steph. No one wants to hear you laughing. For 3 hours.
That's why I had to laugh. I was like, oh my God, they're talking about me. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Nobody wants to hear Pastor Steph laugh for 3 hours straight. She done turned everyone. She become the entertainment. No, but that's just laughing. The ignorance of whether you're hearing someone try to yell for the server who's on the other side of the restaurant, or we sitting here arguing about who ate the gratitude, or you hear no, mine didn't come with cheese, or you hear somebody yelling at their kid. It's like etiquette again, because we didn't learn these things when we were children. So now, because I'm grown in age, I feel like I should be able to go out, but yet I don't know how to conduct myself when I go out. It is extremely annoying because, again, eating is a necessity. Going out to eat is a luxury. If you don't know how to handle yourself, then you need to stay home so that you do not disturb someone else's, that could be their outing for the month, and now it's disturbed because you don't know how to act.
Okay. Well, Tamika, you're going out to eat, and that's just the way I am, and I should be able to yell and to talk loud and act obnoxious, not only in a restaurant. They're saying especially in a restaurant. I should be able to function as I wish.
You're not at home. We don't have romper room in the restaurant. That's ridiculous. It makes no sense. I see Bobby, I see Jenny, and there are certain things that, like, we're trying to sit at the table and enjoy our meal, enjoy our conversation. I can't enjoy my conversation because you yelling across at your friend 2 tables over or your table. I understand, a lot of times that's why they set a big setting in other places so that they can engage in those type of conversations over there. I don't need it over here. I remember one time sitting at a table and there was a couple sitting across from me. And when I tell you, he just went like this big, huge belt.
Wow.
And then he just sat there and I'm looking at him like, really? Like, really? Like you just ruined my whole moment here. Nobody wants to hear all of that, Let me enjoy my moment. It's not all about you. This is not the Jenny show, or this is not a television show where you're the star. Everybody at the table is enjoying themselves, and they don't need your interruption in your intrusion at their table.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Your obnoxious behavior affects people. I'm sorry.
All the time.
I judge. What'd you say?
I said all the time.
Absolutely. I judge half-naked men out in public with their shirts off. Tamika.
Nobody wants to see your keg or your beer belly. I get it that you're hot, but do like me and wear these. Pull your sleeves up. Nobody wants to see the jiggle. And it can be, depending on the shape and size, it can be very disturbing. Like, I'm trying to read here, but I keep seeing that moving around my face, so just be cautious. Mm-hmm. It's not all about you. It's not Be Free Day.
Absolutely. Shantice, half-naked men out in public with their shirts off.
But I see that I don't really see the keg or the taco meat too much, but I do see the
oh my God.
Like, you could have a nice, chest and ab area, but the face be like, whoa. And then it just counteracts the whole effect of the shirt. And then not only that, you're in areas where it's kind of inappropriate. So you're in a kid-friendly area. Why we gotta see your chest, bro? Why? Everybody's hot. We can't just walk around with our bras on. Don't you think sometimes we just want to say, you know what, forget this and just take the shirt off? Absolutely. Everyone is hot. But it's like, again, the level of consideration and the whole because I can, I'm going to mentality. And I wish someone would say something to me, not considering who you're around, the arena, or again, how that affects someone else. No one else wants to see that.
Right. And that's the way I feel. I'm like, I don't care whether the kids around or not. Why? Why do I have to see this? Why? Oh my God, why? Stop. Put your shirt on. Bare belly, 6-pack, put your shirt on. Cut it out. You're not in your house. So they have the signs on the stores that say, we do not serve you if you don't have shoes or shirt on. Thank you. I mean, come on. This is just a bit much. I don't want to see all of that. I'm sorry. All right. There's someone that says, here's one that always irritates me. When I get in line at the cash register behind a person who only has one item, and then at the last second, his or her spouse barges in front of me with a shopping cart piled with a huge load of stuff. Then they have some issue with an expired coupon coupon.
Right.
Coupon, that's right. Coupon that requires the cashier to call the manager. Shantice.
That's the part that'll not so much of the fact that they'll come right in front of me and then there's more items. But now you got the nerve to not even just a coupon, but you know that card will work. You ain't no money on that card. So now everybody has to wait for you to fiddle through which card works. And now you got to put a certain amount on this card and a certain amount on that card. And it's like, okay. If you shop like somebody else I know, you done already got 15 shopping carts where you done split out everything. You put the price. You done calculated the taxes. And you already know which items are gonna go in which cart. So now when you get up to the register, okay, this shopping cart gets put on the red card, and that shopping cart gets put on the blue card, and this shopping cart gets put on the orange card, and then it's 1, 2, 3 go. But then it's just all that's what really. So it's not really the coupons for me. It's more on you ain't had no money. Now we gotta wait. Oh wait, and then when you gotta send the spouse to the car to get the other card.
Oh my goodness gracious. All righty. Tamika, she ain't no good. She talk about you right in your face.
I'll stab you right in your foot.
What say you?
So, any big, okay, so I'll just give you my issue. I have trauma with any one of those big stores. I just don't, if you ask me, I don't shop it. I don't like Macy's. I don't like Costco. I don't like Jetro. I don't like Sam's. I don't like BJ. I don't like any of them, so I don't even like Food Bazaar, but because I have to eat, I go there. Same thing with Walmart. I cannot stand them. So you already know that there's going to be a long line, give or take, especially at a BJ's or something like that. So in my brain, I'm already saying, okay, what's the shortest line? What's the shortest line? Okay, right here. So I'm looking at this lady with one item. Great, perfect. I'm going to be at the store and get out, And then I'm sitting there. We get closer. We get to the register, and here comes her husband with not one cart, but 2. And they've got a baby. The child is all over the place. The child is either a child or a dog that wants to bark and get on my nerves. So now I gotta wait for that. Okay, fine. I'm trying to be calm. All right, he's now in front of me because you've been standing in the line. Okay, I get it. But that is already annoying to me. Then you realize that they have let's just say they have food stamps. And the card is not working for whatever reason. The card reader's not working. So now I still have to wait. Then you decide, oh, I forgot the spaghetti sauce. Help me. You know, and it's not that I'm rushing. I'm already trying to be calm. You know, I only saw one person. Now you got your husband. All this I'm losing. I'm like falling apart every 5 seconds because there's something else. And then debate, you know, there's all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, I'm on that list of that is like my pet peeve because you can never just get to the register and then that's it. There's always something else that piles on top of whatever your situation is. So you're already wrong. And you know, just let him just go on back there with your husband as opposed to coming in front of me, you know, and causing extra chaos.
You look so traumatized when you got to the tomatoes, the spaghetti sauce. Anika says, oh, laugh out loud. I have a bowl of soup instead of that fork and knife issue. Lily says, good morning, Lily. Thank you for joining us this morning. Lily says, haha, me too. The shopping industry definitely traumatized me. All right. People I can't stand. They said I cannot stand people who walk their dogs off leash. Tamika.
People that walk their dogs off leash. Okay, perfect. Got two scenarios for you on that one. Sitting on the train, lady sitting with a dog, and the dog is on her lap, and the dog was fine. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, the dog decides to get off of her leash and just starts walking back and forth. And it's like, you act like that's your child. Like everybody, I don't want the dog sniffing me. I don't want your dog around me. That's your dog. Keep your dog to yourself. That way you can control your dog. Another scenario, I'm walking just in my normal neighborhood. And like, I tried my best to stay on the side of the owner, not the dog. The dog went completely around me and nipped at my pants leg. And I'm like, okay, come on. Like, if you had the dog on a leash, none of that would have happened.
Right. Child, Shanties. I can't stand people who walk their dogs off leash.
After seeing the shades on the inside, this is the second one for me. I just be wishing I had like a tranquilizer gun for the owner and the dog. And it's not the dog's fault. It's the dog just being a dog. What dog is really gonna sit there and say, I demand you put me on this leash? It ain't their fault. It's the owner.
Right.
It's the owner. Right. You stop thinking everybody likes you and your dog. Half the people don't like you. So now they gotta tolerate walking past you and your dog. I was in the bank at the ATM in the bank and just felt something close to my leg. Looked down, it was a dog, and I just went off. All eyes was on the area I was in. The dog ain't touched me, but it was just a little too close for me. And real quick, I had to hold my leg because I just felt my instinct like kicking the dog. And again, it ain't the dog's fault, but unfortunately, you have a stupid owner. And he said something slick, something like, oh, he wasn't going to do nothing or something. I was just like, and I looked at the security and I said, you know, part of this is your fault. And if I was ignorant, all three of y'all would have got it. You the owner and the dog. What are you securing? What are you good for? First of all, I didn't know the dog can do bank transactions. Why is the dog in here? Period. With or without a leash. Then now, not only is the dog in here, it gets to just be free. As if everyone in here either likes dogs or people who I'm allergic to dogs. In addition to not liking them, I have been chased by almost every type of dog, so I'm scared of dogs. On top of not liking dogs, on top of being allergic to dogs. I don't want a dog around me. And as a person, I have the right to not want a dog around me. I thought that was the purpose of the leash, sir. So that you can contain your dog to just you and your family and whoever else likes you and your dog. It's just so, it's gotten to the point where if the shoe fits, wear it. These dog lovers have become so ignorant and selfish that you cannot even walk to take your garbage out half the time because the dog is in front of your house and the owner is still at the corner. but because it's just like whatever. I'm serious. Like it's this one white dog that every time I see, he's still at the corner of the block. We live in the middle of the block, and the dog is just a hopping, just a walking. But he always, so God forbid if anything happened, if somebody came out and wanted to attack your dog, you couldn't do anything because you're all the way back there and the dog is all the way here. It's just, it becomes so ignorant and selfish. I can't stand it.
I just got a question, and I'm going to gel this one. You know, Kenny says, laugh out loud, that's me. I will hold up the line if my sale item don't come off. I'm going to merge the dogs that are in the shopping carts in the
Oh, yes. That beats the shades for me. Okay.
I'm already, yeah, as soon as she said it, I was just like, we both did the same exact thing. So,
yeah.
Who you hitting first?
I feel like on the Nutty Professor when she said the dog out here, he said, "Well, shoot the dog." Like why? See, ignorance. You see why I say half the people don't like
traumatizing. All right. Oh, okay. If we go in order, Shantish, you first.
This goes back to when I say half the people don't even like you. So now you're trying to get them to like your dog. Why do you think it's okay to put your filthy dog where people have to put their food and their children? I so bad wanted to stop this lady. She had her infant in the carrier. The only reason why I didn't say anything was because she had the baby like literally covered. But I had to stop this other lady one time and say, please, I just saw someone, and I guess the guy thought he was doing something by having a mat in the shopping cart under the dog. And I said, take your baby out, please, because just in the next hour over there, about 2 hours over, it's something very disturbing you're going to see. You're going to want to take your baby out this cart. We have to put our produce, our meat, all of that. Why? These shopping carts are not animal friendly. It is disgusting. It is so disgusting and disturbing. And it's like, for some reason, they don't grasp that concept because they're ignorant and selfish.
Tamika?
It is extremely unsanitary for you to put your dog where I put my eggs, my grapes, my strawberries, these things are exposed to dog hair. So now it's one thing that we have been told on this broadcast how to clean your food. It's one thing that I have to deal with pesticides, but now I got to deal with your animal's fur. So now I'm eating dog hair, because you decided, and my thing is, why do we even open up these facilities? But I can't stand, if I go to a restaurant, even if I go to the grocery store and I see a cat walking, I'm going out. I'm not purchasing anything because it drives me crazy. Like
the cat on the bread.
No, the cat who came through the bag of chips like he was on a safari. I went in there and just saw the chips moving and was like, what? And it was migrating through the chips like the lion who's trying to sneak up on the prey. I'm good.
I went into a store and you know how you have your shelving. I saw something move up top. And the cat is literally sitting on top of the shelf like the Mad Hatter. Like, hello. I see eyes that just came and the tail is just wiggling. And I'm looking at the owner like, you gonna do something about it? Nothing was done. Like this is every day. And again, because you're comfortable with it, you assume that I should be comfortable with it. I'm not. We were in BJ's and I remember this dog was sitting inside that spot, literally, like howling. The fact that the dog is in the cart was one thing, and then making noise was another thing. And I like my whole life is disturbed because now I'm almost at the point now. You know how you see the old ladies with the bags with the wheels? let me take that because at least I know what's in there. I know
what's been in there, right? We have Serge that says Lady Tamika became Pastor Jeff with the story. We have Ketty that says dog owners who have the big dog off the leash who says they won't bite. Absolutely. Oh, they kill me with that one. Oh, he won't bite you.
Oh, that's a baby.
Does he have teeth? Do you have teeth? Then he's capable of biting. Miss Grace says, good morning. Watch it there. I'm a dog lover. It's fine to be a dog lover. But I think what the insensitivity is when you don't realize other people are not dog lovers. That's one thing. Number two, when we're talking about my food, I should have a right to shop in a store. I don't think, here's my issue. Because when I went on, the day I went on the plane and saw the whole setup for the dogs, there's a place where they could drink water, all this stuff for the dogs. Right. I said to myself, so you've got what percentage of this world who's allergic to dogs?
Right.
So I'm not allergic to dogs. I just happen to not, they're not my thing. I don't dislike them. They're not my thing. But as a person who knows that there are people who are allergic to dogs, how do y'all have this set up? And that portion of the population, it doesn't matter. You have different degrees of allergies. Mm-hmm. You have different responses to allergies. So it may affect Tamika one way, but the allergy may affect Shantice another way. Right. I don't think I've paid my fare to get on this plane and now I got to worry about I'm allergic to your dog that's in your bag, and you could sit there with your dog as though I don't exist. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just become this insensitivity to the fact that there are people who do love dogs, but now when you speak against this, then you automatically appear to be someone brutal. You hate dogs. And no, like you said, Tamika, if you don't want the dog up against your clothes or nibbling at your sneaker or sniffing you have every right to feel that I just don't want that. If you, Shantice, have an allergy or you want to shop, or like Tamika, you said you're in a store and you're shopping, you should have the ability to put my food in this cart and I don't have to worry about. And I'm like, but children get in here. And these kids are born with allergies for everything these days.
You're right.
Children have to sit here. Why is this a place for your dog? Not only that, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want a dog around my meat,
right?
My produce. Well, it's like I have no say, and I think that's the insensitivity part. It's like this world has become. You just have no say in your life. You just don't. You don't have any say, well, this is a support dog. My question is, how does the entire family walk with the support dog? Can't you support one another? I'm just lost at this whole process. This whole premise of it's a support dog for people who are single, people who are alone, people who are they don't have a companion. So, and they may have some type of psychological issue, so they get them this companion animal, this companion dog, so that they take it with them. But the whole family walks in. So I'm like, so then what? So you do nothing for one another, that you need the dog, and you got the dog in your left arm, and you switching the dog from your left arm to your right arm, but yet you looking through the grapes. And I'm like, no, Jesus, wait, I can't. And this is only what I see. This is what I see. This is what I see. I'm like, Lord, what did happen outside of my purview? What happened? I think that's where you lose points, because it's fine. Dog lovers, cat lovers, monkey lovers, but everybody just ain't there. And I think there's just this level of, not everybody, again, like Shanti said, if the shoe fits, wear it. Not everybody. But if this is your dog, then you need to keep it with you. It does not need to be in everybody's space. Right. It doesn't need to be in everybody's space. So if somebody, so it's almost like we have a sensitivity to people who comes this close to us. You ever had somebody who talk and they got to get up right in your face? You like, wait, you keep backing up because they just don't understand that we need some space between us. That's the same thing it is with the animals. You forget that everybody has their personal space, and you're not respecting that personal space. And so that there, when the thing with the dog and the cart, just, and like I said, when I went, I don't remember what store we were in some big store, and the lady had the dog and she was just shuffling the dog from the left to the right side, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's one thing to wash my apples, to wash my cucumbers. It's another thing. I cannot wash my parsley with soap. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just have to be a little sensitive. Ladies, boy, we got a whole list of stuff here. There's more to be said. I'm going to continue this conversation tonight. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. So we have some scripture here about being considerate toward others. The Bible talks about everything. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. That's Philippians 2, 3, and 4. Romans 12, 10. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing love. Matthew 7:12. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. So if we just did those scriptures right there, you would already be able to equate it with some of the items. Some of the items that the people brought out that we spoke, that the lady spoke on, is really about preference. So, you talked about the shades, things like that. That's just preference, like I said, for me, the shades thing is a distraction to me when I'm speaking to you, because I am one who speaks eye to eye. So I'm not interested in looking at, your shades or adjusting the way I communicate with you because you need shades on. Because shades a lot of time is vanity. Everybody has something different for a different reason. Everybody do things for different reasons. So we can't say everybody's vain, everybody's this, everybody's that. Everybody falls in the same bucket, but at the end of the day, everybody is doing the same thing. So we have to understand that I need to remember that this may be offensive to someone. This may be offensive to someone, when you do these things like the shirt, the men who walk in a public place, in public arena, and there are no shirts on, put your shirt on. I know you just, everybody should not have to be subjected to looking at you like that. And people, unfortunately, there's this feeling that everyone has a right. Everyone has a right to do what they want to do. We've talked about this here before, and that's why the Lord kind of had me stick a pin in this. And I think we need to understand that we are living in a world where the world is not our 2x4 apartment or our 2x4 home. It is the world, and when we go out, we need to be respectful of other people. And what we're finding is there is a there's a huge lack of consideration for others. because that's your thing, now it becomes everybody else's thing. And I look at the verse that says, so whatever you wish others to do to you. See, here's the part that kind of always, and that's Matthew 7:12. Here's the part that always kind of makes me chuckle. When I see people who are so sensitive about this thing, but yet they could care less on this side. That's why God says, so whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Because if we start thinking about the insensitivity on that end, but we first think about the insensitivity on our end, then that holds a completely different weight. We're so, again, I always term it looking across the table opposed to looking in the mirror. So I've gotten to the point where if something annoys me, the first thing I say is, okay, what do you do? Are you out here doing something, or did you do something to so-and-so? And we can always find something in all of us. We can find something that offends someone else all the time. You know why? Because we're living in this temperamental world. Everything touch everybody. Oh, you don't like this, you don't like that, you don't like that. We all have preferences. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this sensitivity. I don't like this. I'm like that. Don't do this. Don't do that. This bothers me. That bothers me. Stop. Because we do have to learn. The Word of God says that we are in this world, but we don't have to be of the world. We don't have to do things the same way everybody else does it, but we have to be mindful of the fact that we are in this world. So we're going to have a lot of different things that we have to contend with. And because of that, it behooves us to be more sensitive to the things we do. There's so many things I watch people do, and I'm like, and that's fine. And it's just, wait, that makes sense. It's like, really? And God is allowing all of this stuff to boomerang. Before you can get into something quickly, now it's in your face. It's in your face. And the Word of God speaks about this. Is be careful of how you talk about something or someone, because you may look up one day and it's you. So that's why when we speak about some things, we have to be very careful about how we speak about it. And that's why I talk about the animals in the cart the way I do. It is an insensitivity to those who would like to live in a dog-free environment. So they've allowed you to bring your dog into the store. I'm seeing more and more signs that say no dogs allowed, but we all know that years ago you only saw like a seeing-eye dog. You didn't see these companion dogs, but you see these stores that allow the animals to come in. All right, so fine, you've been allowed to bring your animal in when there was a time when you were not allowed. You had to tie your dog up on the outside, but instead of you being okay with that, you have to go the extra mile and now put the dog in the cart. How do you not first believe or understand that that's not designed for your dog? And like Shanti said, we were together when she saw the man with the little thing in the she said he had like a blanket or something that he put in the cart. He called himself being considerate, and he, because he didn't want to put the dog in the cart. Well, maybe that's because the dog would be falling in between the pegs. So I don't know if that's consideration or not. But let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. He was considerate enough to put the blanket thing in the cart. I'm sorry, that's not good enough for me. As a person who has to ingest this food, that's not good enough for me. These carts were not designed for your dog. Plain and simple as that. It's almost like I've seen, when we went on the cruise, there was a woman holding a child who had to be about 5. And there's a buffet. The whole perimeter of the cruise ship on this floor is nothing but food. When we looked, she had been holding her child and I guess got tired and sat her child on the buffet table. No. Somebody's really got to come through and tell you that your child does not belong on a table. Your child has no business sitting on the table where we got to eat from. So here's what made me mad. There was a group of older ladies on the other side of the fence who were there, and they were just standing around. Oh, she shouldn't put her child there. So just so happened, and they have people working there all over the place. So I grabbed this guy who was working there, and I said, do me a favor, tell her to get her child off that table because we have to eat there. We have to eat from there. That's where they're putting our food. So he was really good. He went up to her and he says, is there something I can help you with? I was like, that's much better than I would have done. Because I was like, you know what? People have to eat here. Please take your child off. And they're still standing. Well, she should never put a child. And I'm like, y'all actually stood there, and instead of doing something, going to get somebody or saying something to her, because had I not seen someone, I was getting ready to confront that issue. My food has to go there. So this is what I mean. And that wasn't even an animal. Literally where the food was, she had her child, her arms and got tied. She has a child sitting. I was in utter disbelief that you literally had to tell her to take her child. It just doesn't, for some reason, these things don't come natural to people. The consideration, what you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. What would disturb you when it came to your child? If somebody did something to your child or that affected your child, then you have to think about that. That's our charge here. That's our charge. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit. Selfish ambition means that you can get ahead, that services you and only what you would like to happen. Don't do anything in that vein, but outdo one another in love. That's another verse. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo. That means that I'm supposed to be making it my business to make you more comfortable than my comfortability. And people don't think they need God because it's simple, like Shanti said earlier, with all the book smarts people have, there's just a lot of common sense that just doesn't exist. So, when we're running through this list of things, we talked about when the bus driver opens the door, it opens automatically the stop sign. Why? Because there have been children that have been hit. And then at one point, I don't know if, I get, being 60, you kind of grow through some things. You see the progression of things. At one point, school buses didn't have anything on it. Then it went to the stop sign was only where if you were looking at the bus. So anything oncoming, they were telling you stop. But then because a child actually got hit from a car that was going in the same direction of the bus, they then had to make the stop sign on both sides to tell any driver, do not go past this stop sign. And I have literally seen, so technically what's supposed to happen is, the technical rule is, if you're on an intersection, you're supposed to sit on the opposite side of the intersection. Don't cross the intersection to come to the bus. For those who are going, who are not in an intersection and it stops at in a block, I have literally seen drivers pull all the way up to the stop sign. I'm like, really? Again, we really have to extend our thinking that we understand things to be about others first. For the safety, for the love, for the consideration, for the comfortability of others. We really need. That's our charge. I didn't even read you half the verses that I have sitting here. But just from 3 verses, we've already been charged to live that way. So come on. Let's outdo one another with love. If that means that somebody's got to be the first one to stop talking, then stop talking. if if I'm noticing that my logic or my facts upset you, then maybe I just need to stop talking. I've seen conversations like that where it is completely irrational, and I'm like, okay, just somebody got to be the first one to stop talking. Just stop talking. I'll stop talking. At times I'll stop talking when I see this person getting all upset and riled up, and I'm like, okay, that happened to me quite some time ago. A person who was dead wrong, and he's all up in this uproar, and he's like, well, they shouldn't have done this, and they shouldn't have done that, and they shouldn't have done that. I'm like, that's your angle? That they shouldn't have done? So it right what you did because they did something, like they trusted you. And now you're mad because somebody's telling you you did something wrong. But had they not trusted you, so now you put the blame on them because they trusted you. And at that point, I was like, we done with this conversation. And that's what we have to do sometimes. Outdo one another with love. And you know what? Just step back and just pray. Just ask God to deal with the situation. Ask God to deal with the person, because it's just not happening. The consideration is not there. The brotherly love is not there. We're charged to have brotherly love. I'm supposed to be concerned about my brother. So my dog in a cart, my dog off of a leash. I do not like when a dog runs up to me and is all over on my pants or my shoe. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I've noticed that if you don't like it, they are offended. And I'm trying to figure out, well how does that even work? How does that work? How does that work? That your comfortability, I'm not comfortable with, but I'm the one in the wrong. You annoyed. That again, our compass is off. So today, pray and ask God to direct your moral and spiritual compass so that whatever you're doing is pleasing in His sight towards your brother. That you are not pushing your pet peeves, your trivial pet peeves, to now adjust this entire world, but that the things that upset you are logical. And if they're not things that are not, if you want to say logical, that you just don't like it and you know how to kind of contain it, but to upset the whole atmosphere with your preference is ungodly. Why? I just got finished reading 3 verses. So my prayer is that we catch this thing. That's why God was like, I'm going to expose all of the little things we do. The little things we do. Again, in closing, years ago, a man showed respect when he came in and he took off his hat. Now, ain't no respect. Respect doesn't matter. You follow what I'm saying? It's not so much of, you don't take your hat off, but the purpose to show that I was honoring everyone in the room. Now, somebody could say, well, how does that mean it honors everybody in the room? I understand the argument, but go back to the premise. For whatever the reason, it was kind of taught that was respect. Why are we at a point right now where it doesn't matter? That if all it took was for me to remove my hat in order to show that I respect you, why is that too much? Why is it that I need to understand why if I don't take my hat off, it's disrespectful? To me, it's almost like the conversation I had with Ainsley that day about whether R. Kelly should be able to make music and record. It's the basis of the respect. It was just known as a respectful gesture. So my thing is, because everything is shifting so drastically, can we keep to just the little things that we do to make someone else either comfortable or to show the respect And again, we're in a whole different set of generations. So this stuff doesn't even bother certain people. And it doesn't bother me. I just prefer, because again, that's where my head goes. My head goes, if that's a little thing we can do to show we have respect for one another, why can't we just do that? Is it going to kill us? Are we thinking about all the other things that we're doing that don't show respect? And we're thinking about our comfortability, but this is one little thing over here. And it doesn't even have to be the hat. It could be anything. That's the point that God is trying to push today. Are we concerning ourselves with our brother that we're willing to do just that little thing to make someone's life a little better? Ask yourself. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not things that are on earth. And I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us do what we do. Thank you for keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now, where all of this stuff would make sense to you. If not immediately, gradually. Please, 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 if you've already given your life to the Lord, strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now. All these little tidbits help us straighten our relationship with the Lord. If you read your Bible and you begin to make these things that you read personal, you're ultimately strengthening your relationship with God, because that's where the directives comes from God. Until tonight, God spares at 9 p.m. right here. Coach for Christian Life, Facebook Live and YouTube Live, a Closer Walk Christian Media Network, right here at 9 p.m. where there's more to be said. Come on in the room. I said we're going to talk about this. I don't know what God's going to have, but come on and join me, and make sure you tell a friend. Please subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the times when we show up here on this YouTube channel. Until then, God spares. I love